Hello, I'm Abby.
And I'm Keith.
Welcome to our 80s Live podcast, Dallas edition. So we just got home from an amazing trip to Palm Springs, California, in order to celebrate the Dallas 45th reunion.
It was so much fun, but I tell you, I'm still tired. So we left out on a Friday night. We got there at about 5 a.m. Wichita time.
Yes.
So we started off with a bang, but we recovered and we were well rested by the event on Tuesday, but then we had to fly back and we got back into Wichita at midnight.
Yeah, that's not usually our style, leaving late at night, but it's just the way the flights worked out. And, you know, this was kind of a last-minute trip. There wasn't a lot of lead time on this event. We found out about it thanks to our friend Gary at Dallas Fanzine. And as soon as we heard about the event, we were like, we both looked at each other and we said, we have to go.
Yeah, and literally like 2 days before that, we were just saying like, you know, we probably just need to stay home for a little while. And we go, that's a good idea. And then, hey, Keith, we have to go to Palm Springs.
Right. They couldn't just have it in Dallas, right?
No, wouldn't be that easy.
Right. It's an easy drive for us to get to Dallas. For those of you who don't know, we don't actually live in Dallas, although we make a lot of videos there. That's my hometown, and that's where we were first married. That's where our daughter was born. But we live in Wichita, which is about
It's a solid 5.5 to 6 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been way easier, and the previous anniversaries have been held at South Fork, but not this time.
No, but I'll tell you what, we had never been to Palm Springs before, and Palm Springs was lovely.
It really was. We enjoyed it. I mean, I know it's in the middle of the desert, but it's very beautiful there.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
How many times did I hear that?
We did. But they have mountains there. We went up on the, they have one of those trams that goes up the side of the mountain that was just really neat. And we took some time to do some touristy stuff while we were there. Of course, we went to the Cabazon dinosaurs. We'll have a video coming out on that soon. You can't miss those.
Oh, no, you got to go see the dinosaurs.
So we definitely took advantage of our long weekend, very long weekend in Palm Springs, and had, like you said, a lovely time. We really enjoyed it. I could definitely see us going back there on vacation.
Yeah, it was a 5-pound vacation for me.
Oh, no, really?
Man, when I got back to work on Wednesday or on Thursday, my pants were tight.
Oh, no. I didn't weigh, but it's usually I don't gain that much weight on vacation because I have celiac, so I have to eat gluten-free, so it's always a little bit tricky, and I can't eat as much as I would at home.
Yeah, but there was a lot of good food, even gluten-free stuff on this trip.
There was. Palm Springs has really great restaurants, and we actually found one that we liked so much we went back there twice.
Yeah, we're regulars now.
It's called Lulu's if you're ever there. We really enjoyed Lulu's. And we also had breakfast at a place called Cheeky's that was really great.
Cheeky's was good, and so was Palm Greens.
Oh, yeah. We went there twice. I mean, if you find a place that has gluten-free blueberry pancakes, you know, tear me away. I'm definitely going to go twice.
Abby was in heaven.
I was. So I got really spoiled. I think we both did. Yeah. We stayed at a great hotel. We just really had a wonderful time. But the reason we were there was because the Dallas 45th reunion, you guys. And so many cast members were going to be there. We just couldn't pass up the opportunity to go and meet them and see them in person. This was our first time meeting all of these people. So it was really exciting.
That's right. So when they had the 40th anniversary, we were not Dallas fans yet.
Right. So this is the part where we should probably explain to them, because we've never really told you guys our history of Dallas and how we got into the show and all of that. So we definitely need to talk about that.
That's right.
Okay. So a few years ago, we went to South Fork on one of our many trips to Dallas.
Well, wait, let's back up before that.
What do you mean?
You grew up in Dallas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you used to drive by the house all the time. So you did have a connection to Dallas even before you and I went on a tour.
That's true. Yeah, I grew up just a few miles from there. So when people would come to visit us and, you know, we'd have out-of-town guests, the thing to do would be like, do you want to drive over to South Fork?
You got to go see where JR lives, right?
Right. So we would drive by, stalk it a little bit just from the fence there. You can pull over and take pictures and just gawk at it. And that's what we did. We never got close enough to watch them filming, but we certainly drove by a number of times as a kid. So, yeah.
Okay. Now let's fast forward to probably 2019.
Remember, my high school was having an anniversary of,
Okay.
it wasn't a reunion, but it was like an anniversary for the building. And so we went for that. And I said, we should go to South Fork on one of the tours. That would be really fun. I've never actually gone on site on the property. I'd just seen it from the fence.
I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. So we booked a tour. We went, and we really had fun on that tour, even though we had not watched the show. So
Kind of felt like a poser.
I was about to say, I felt a little like a poser because we don't watch the show. We didn't at the time.
We were the only people there that had not watched the show, but we did not let on that we had not watched the show.
We played along. I think we covered up nicely and thoroughly enjoyed our tour. We made a little video of it and everything, and we fully admitted that, we didn't watch the show because, think about it, this show was from 1978 was when it started. We would have just been little kids.
That's right.
And so we were too young to watch a show, with the topics that were covered on Dallas.
You mean murder and adultery and alcoholism? Those aren't things for 4 or 5-year-olds?
No.
Okay.
So my parents wisely didn't have me watching Dallas back in the day, although I definitely remember it came on like after something else, like when it was bedtime, and I remember the theme song. I mean, who doesn't? That's like the theme of the 80s.
That's an anthem.
So great. And I remember the Who Shot JR thing. I remember the famous Bobby shower scene with the Dream season because it was all over like Entertainment Tonight.
Of course she did.
Well, I just remember because it was like, what? A whole season was a dream? And people were pissed. And I remember that. Like, even though I was young, I still remember that phenomenon. So I certainly have memories of Dallas, but I never sat down and like watched the show.
Okay.
Until
2020, and we all know what happened in 2020.
Yeah, we all found ourselves with a lot of extra time at home.
We were stuck at home.
And we were looking for things to do. And I looked at Keith and I said, babe, this is it. This is when we watch Dallas. Like it's what, 14 seasons? I mean, it's quite a commitment.
That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's give it a shot and see if we like it.
Yeah, so he was skeptical at first. He wasn't sure. It is a soap opera, right? It's known as being a soap opera. But how we describe it usually is after starting watching it, it was like, oh, it's a soap opera for dudes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've got cowboys, oil barons,
You got
fighting,
fights.
bar fights.
Lots of fights.
Keith loved it. He was into it.
Oh, I love JR.
JR. He was so hooked.
It's like,
yeah, we were totally reeled in from the get-go, and we binge watched Dallas, during that extra time at home.
that's right.
And as we were watching it, I was like, holy crap, I know all these places.
She goes, I recognize that place. Hey, I recognize that place.
Okay, so in my mind, because as a kid, we would drive by South Fork, and I knew that's where they filmed. I thought they just filmed at South Fork, and the rest of it was on a soundstage in California. But little did I know, they actually filmed a ton in my hometown.
They filmed all over the place.
They did, all over the city, Dallas, Fort Worth, the Stockyards,
Las Colinas.
Wiley, Plano, downtown Plano was actually supposed to be like Braddock.
That's Braddock, yep.
Okay, so when we started recognizing these places, I was like, babe, you know what would be fun?
I'm like, what's that?
We could go and find them all.
We can do the locations.
And we looked on YouTube, and lo and behold, nobody had done filming location videos for Dallas.
Because no one was that crazy. Come to find out, it's a lot of work.
It turned out to be a ton of work, but it's really fun. It turned out to be just like this insane hobby, almost like a mission, like we have to find all of these places. And some of them were real stumpers. I mean, like there were some we really got stumped up, like Bobby's
Bobby's
grave.
grave took us years.
Yeah, we just found that. If you haven't watched the video, that's one of our latest videos. We just found that. And we had to get some help from some friends on that one. But
yes, some things are super easy, and like you just watch it and you go, oh, no, that's at the fairgrounds, or that's
Twin Gold Towers.
Yeah, or it might be Renaissance Tower.
Well, Campbell Center was really easy for me because that's where my prom was, my high school prom. So I was like, okay, yeah, I know this place. Yeah. That's where my prom was. Or these are places I've driven by all my life, like hundreds of times. So some of them were easy, but like you said, some of them were not so much.
But we love the challenge, and it's fun to get out Google Maps, and, that's our best friend.
Yes.
Problem is they don't go back 40 years, so they only go back a certain number of years. So, a lot of things have changed over 40 years, and that's what was really shocking to me is like, 40 years, it's kind of a long time, but it's not that long when it comes to like buildings and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how much a lot of things have changed.
And a lot of places that had water features didn't have water features anymore. It's like there was this trend in the 70s and 80s of putting water features everywhere, and then
it's a trend to remove all that.
A trend of removing them. So that was one of the disappointments and like major changes, whereas like, wasn't there a fountain there in that place? And it would be totally gone. Like Energy Center looked way different.
Well, that's like in front of Jenna's apartment. She had one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was that little waterfall.
The little waterfall was gone.
Yeah, it was gone, but you could still see, like, it was weird. They left the sort of like little rock formation decor like there, and then they just took out the water part.
I think Energy Plaza was one that changed probably the most, and also in downtown, down by the Reunion Tower area. There used to be a lot of water features down there that are gone now.
Mm-hmm. They used it for like a restaurant, even though it was never a restaurant. But they used to put tables there, and that was supposed to be like a restaurant. And I could see why. It was a pretty backdrop with all those fountains and stuff. And yep, they're totally gone. So it threw us off. But we talked to people that worked there. Sometimes we would just approach people like that worked in these buildings and be like, wasn't there a fountain there or whatever? And they would sort of like explain it to us or help us figure it out. We definitely had a lot of help.
Yeah. Or if they did know, they go like, well, there's one guy that's worked here for like 40 years. Let's go talk to him. Yeah. That happened at hotels a lot.
Yeah.
We talked to someone at a hotel like, well, I've only been here a few years, but there's this one person that's been here forever.
Since the 80s.
And they probably know.
Yeah, and they did. And not only that, but some of them had stories. Some of them remembered them filming. And so that was fun to hear their stories.
At the Marriott Quorum, I mean, we ran into a lady there that had great stories about the cast because that's where they stayed a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And filmed, and they would eat down in the restaurant a lot. So she had great stories about them in the restaurant and also out by the pool.
Yeah, that was fun. And we ended up spending the night there at we're calling it the J.R. and Sue Ellen Suite, but it's the suite where their characters stayed when they had that house fire at the South Fork. So anyways, lots of stories. I mean, you can watch our videos and see all of that.
Yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, for sure. Check them out if you haven't already. But that is how we got started with our Dallas obsession. Fast forward to now, we find out that the cast is getting together, and
this was our opportunity to finally get to meet a large number of the cast that's, still available to meet in person.
Okay, so here are the cast members that were at the reunion. We had Patrick Duffy,
Linda Gray,
Steve Canale,
Charlene Tilton,
Joan Van Ark,
Audrey Landers.
And then we also had Cherie Wilson and Kathy Podwell, and also Michael Priest, who was one of the directors.
The event was hosted at Oscars downtown Palm Springs, and the owner of the venue is Dan Gore, and he did a great job of getting things organized to make this event happen.
Yes, and also special thanks to James for the amazing sets. Oh my gosh, we walked by there the day before, and we were like, is this the place? Because, it just didn't look that big, and we weren't really sure, like there wasn't a stage or anything. Then we came by later, they were setting up a stage. Then we got there for the event, and the set was up, and it was like this miniature South Fork and the big Dallas letters. It looked so cute. Oh, and there's an oil well or an oil derrick thingy.
I said Ewing on it. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
The attention to detail was fantastic, and it really made the stage look amazing.
It did. It looked so great. So it was a packed house. I mean, packed. We got there early. We were advised to get there early. We did, which I'm glad we did.
Thank goodness.
Yes. So we waited about an hour outside in a big line formed before they let us in. And then Keith and I had a really nice surprise when we got there.
Well, first we had a little heart attack before the surprise.
Well, first, they thought our name wasn't on the list because I think the guy was looking at the wrong list.
He was on the wrong page. And he goes, I don't see you on this list. I'm like, I have tickets that have our names on them. We're on the list. And so he eventually found it. And I was like, Abby was like, you see the look of like, oh,
Panicking.
No. And so that worked itself
cool.
out. But there was a minor heart attack before we got in. But when we got in, he goes, okay, you're at table 13. I'm like, okay, we're walking to table 13. And table 13 is the table that is right in the front, right in the center.
I mean, who would have thought that? I would have thought it would be number 1, right?
Yeah.
No, 13 was the one you wanted.
That's right. And so we were lucky that we got in line early because we were assigned to a table, but not necessarily a seat. So since we were the first ones to get to table 13, we were able to get the seats closest to the stage.
Yeah. So we were like front row center, like right there. And so that's how we were able to film the video, which you guys can watch if you want. We filmed the whole thing, or as much of it as we could. We were trying to not distract people and play it cool, but we definitely wanted to record it for you guys. So we hope y'all enjoyed the video if you get a chance to watch it. But that's how that happened, was we bought our tickets early. So that's why we're in that table. But we just got really lucky that we were right up front.
Yeah, we bought the tickets right when they went on sale. So that's the reason why we were at that table. So your table was based on when you bought your tickets. So we were on the ball, got it early, and got the primo seats.
Well, we knew it was going to sell out, and it did indeed sell out right away. And it wasn't a huge venue, so they didn't have a ton of tickets to sell to begin with. So, honestly, any seats would have been great because it was just not that big of a place.
Yeah. The event was outside on the patio area at the venue, so we were really lucky that day because we were in the desert, but the weather was really good that day.
It was, and the event didn't start till the evening, so the sun had started to go down, and as you watch the video, during the event, you see the sun setting, and it turns from day to night over the time, but anyway, it was perfect. The event went so smoothly, and the weather was perfect. And we were so glad that we went. I mean, a lot was riding on it. It was a big trip for us. He had to take off all this time off of work and spend a lot of money to get there. And we were so glad that we did. It was really, really worth going. Dallas fans are really friendly, and we ended up meeting a lot of really nice people.
They're very passionate about the show.
They are. Everybody has their favorite characters, their favorite storylines. And it was fun to chat among the different fans while we were waiting for the show to start.
Yeah, and it was really cool because we also got to meet some friends from social media from the Cattlemen's Club. So we got to meet David and Jenny. Yeah,
so we've been following them, on social media for a good while. He is probably the biggest collector of Dallas memorabilia that there is.
His collection is amazing, but a little bit out of control.
Well, probably if you ask Jenny, she might say that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Truth be told, I'm a little jealous.
So they live in Oklahoma. They have a huge collection, and we had never met in person. Be sure and follow him on Instagram. It's just Cattlemen's Club, and you can see his pictures of his collection. It's just astounding. But it was really fun meeting them. So I was looking, I knew they were going to be there. So while we were in line, I was like, okay, we have to look for this guy. This is what he looks like. And we spotted him right away, introduced ourselves, and really spent the evening chatting with them and made some new friends. And so, hi guys, if you're watching, it was a lot of fun meeting you guys.
We also had a lot of friends that couldn't come to the reunion, obviously, because it was in Palm Springs. So this Thursday night, we're joining the Ewing Barbecue to just chat it up and talk about the event that night, and Cattlemen's Club will be there.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So tune into the Ewing Barbecue podcast if you haven't already. So what they do is their show is a little different than ours. So they're all about Dallas. They watch the show, and then they break down each and every episode. So much detail for each episode. But we are there to talk to them about what they missed at this event. But now they have been to previous reunions. So this was our first one, but they've gone to the ones at South Fork before.
We're real excited to be able to talk to them on their show and look forward to that.
Yeah. So after the show, we got to go and meet the cast, and it was so exciting. There was only one disappointment, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty major one.
It was.
We were at the end of pretty close to the end of the line. because there was a little miscommunication about how you're supposed to queue up. And so by the time we figured out what was going on, we were kind of at the end.
Well, I saw the line forming, and I was like, babe, is that the line? Do we need to get in it? And Keith goes, I think that's the line for the bar.
Well, it was right by the bar. I thought people were just getting drinks. I didn't realize they were queuing up to meet the cast.
Because they made an announcement, I guess, while I was in the bathroom that they said, it's going to be about 20 minutes. Everybody just wait here. We'll let you know when it's time to line up. Well, then they never told us to line up. So we're hanging out and we're like thinking that's the bar line when actually it was the line. So it took us a while to like get in the line. So we ended up being towards the end.
Yeah. So anyway, punchline is Linda Gray and Patrick Duffy, unfortunately, had already left by that point. So we did not actually get to meet them and, get the obligatory picture. So
that was a huge letdown. I'm not going to lie. I was very disappointed that they had to leave. But
yeah. So I hear they're going on tour together. It's called Back to Dallas, I believe. So
that's going to be fun.
I guess we're going to have to go to one of those shows because we still got to meet Patrick and Linda.
Darn, we'll have to go to another Dallas show.
But with that said, I still really enjoyed the meet and greet. It actually turned out to be a good experience. Even though they had left, we had a good opportunity to actually have a few minutes to talk to the different cast members.
Yeah, so all the ones that stayed, thank you so much for staying.
Thank you for staying till the end.
They were so gracious and so kind, and they took selfies with us and chatted with us. We gave everybody stickers, so in case they didn't already know about our video project, that we would let them know about it. And actually, a couple of them said that they did know, and they had watched our videos, and Kathy Podwell said that she had watched our videos. So that was a huge honor and compliment for us. But the biggest one probably came a few days later when we got this message from Steve Canale on our Instagram. So I definitely want to read that to you guys. I would like to congratulate you on the fun, interesting program, and I might add, wholesome project that you produce. Thanks for covering the Dallas reunion at Oscars in Palm Springs. It was really a very special evening, and we all appreciate the wonderful support from all the Dallas fans. By my personal count, I met people from 10 different countries and 20 states. Keep up the good work. Aww. Oh my goodness. I texted that to Keith because he was at work, and I texted him and I just said, I'm beaming right now, like reading this. It just made me so happy. And he was a delight.
Yeah, he really was. And one thing he mentioned there were people from other countries that came to this deal.
Yes, we met people from Germany and France that had come over just for this event.
I mean, that's incredible.
And I'm sure there were others. I know there were others, but those were the two that we met. And that is incredible. I mean, here we thought coming from Kansas was a big deal.
Yeah, that was child's play compared to some of these other folks that came over.
Those flights and all of that. I hope they had an amazing vacation.
I hope so. But overall, it was a fantastic night. I would totally do it again. I'm looking forward to 50. I hope they do a 50. I hope they do it in Dallas, though. But hey, if it's at Oscars again at Palm Springs,
great,
we'll be there.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I mean, we enjoyed Palm Springs.
Yep.
There's something else I'm looking forward to also because, as we just said, we binged all of the early Dallas seasons, but we've never watched the reboot, and this just came in the mail. So we're getting ready to start it. And everybody loves the reboot. The fans love it. I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I kind of want to see how the story continues. I mean, we kind of abruptly ended, and want to see what happens with the JR saga in the later years.
And you know what that means. We're going to have more filming locations to find.
Oh, man, we still have to finish the regular Dallas series before we get into the reboot because we're only through 9 right now.
I know, but they also filmed the reboot, and I think they filmed a lot more there, actually, than they did the original series.
I think they filmed the whole thing in Dallas, right?
I think so. I know they used the interiors for the first time ever of South Fork. Okay. And JR's, not to spoil it, but I know that JR dies because we've been on that South Fork tour, and they show you the room where he died. So
the motel in Mexico.
Yeah, I think so. So the JR death scene was filmed there. So we've seen that space. We've been in that place, but we haven't actually watched it on screen because we were trying to get through all the original story, and then also like there was a few TV movies we had to watch. So we're caught up with those, and now we're ready for the reboot. So that is what we have coming up on our personal social agenda.
I see our productivity level going down.
Between that and the Donkey Kong game, we may never get anything done around here.
We're never going to leave the house again.
Well, Keith, I think we have some Dallas watching to do, so we better go.
Yep.
Hey, if you guys haven't watched it yet, be sure and check out our 45th reunion video, which is linked below. And also don't miss our Dallas playlist, where we have all of our Dallas videos in case there's any that you haven't seen. And
while you're there, subscribe.
yes. Bye, y'all.